fire drills around Taiwan. In turn, Taiwan's aviation authority says its air traffic is affected. Correspondent Lisa Dwyer reports.
China has expressed anger at the U.S. for arms sales to Taiwan and a statement by Japan's prime minister that its military could get involved if China were to take action against self-governing Taiwan. Taiwan has placed its forces on alert and called the Chinese government the biggest destroyer of peace. Taiwan's aviation authority says that more than 100,000 international air travelers will be affected by flight cancellations or diversions because of China's drills. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A Utah judge has ordered the release of a transcript from a closed-door hearing in October over whether the man charged with killing Charlie Kirk must be shackled during court proceedings. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 249 points, the Nasdaq dropped 118, with the S&P 500 lower by 24. More at townhall.com.
The fight against sexual exploitation begins at home. Sexual exploitation is no longer a distant issue. It's happening here in our communities, schools, and even our homes. Every day, millions of Americans are targeted and trapped through manipulation, coercion, and deception. Sexploited in America, The Invisible War is a powerful docuseries exposing the hidden systems and cultural blind spots that allow exploitation to thrive, and gives a voice to the survivors and families forever changed by it. Raw, unfiltered, deeply human, these stories reveal both the devastating realities of exploitation and the extraordinary courage of those who refuse to be silenced. Sexploited in America, the docuseries is presented by AGA Media and available to everyone now at salemnow.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Pending home sales in the U.S. surged in November to their highest level in 3 years. The National Association of Realtors says sales rose 3.3% last month. It was the best performance since February 2023. The numbers suggest improving affordability conditions for home buyers. The head of Iran's central bank resigned today as protests erupted in Tehran and several other cities. Demonstrations took place after the country's currency plummeted to a new record low against the U.S. dollar. Wall Street finished in negative territory to open the final week of 2025 trading. The Dow Industrials dropped 249 points, a 0.5% loss. The Nasdaq fell by 119 points, and the S&P 500 was down by 24 as investors took a profit on tech stocks. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 28. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but will only warm up to 49 degrees as a high. The sun continues Wednesday. We're a bit warmer. 54 is our high temperature. For New Year's Day on Thursday, look for a nice day. Very nice. In fact, mostly sunshine-filled skies. We'll have a high up to 59 or 60. Next chance for rain looks like Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com. Press that button.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Good to have you with us tonight. It is Sports Talk Media Network, back in good old South Carolina after a very interesting time up in New York City. Recommended highly. Ever get a chance to go to New York, do so. Don't worry about the weather. Don't worry about the crime. Don't worry about the traffic. Just go up there and have a good time and keep your head on a swivel and watch out for moving objects, both cars and other things, and you'll be just fine. Though I wouldn't want to be up there like tonight in the next few days because we had a little bit of weather. I say a little bit. It didn't seem to me, from a Southern boy standpoint, I wasn't blown away by the snowfall that we got there on the evening of the – get my days right here – the evening of the 26th and the morning of the 27th. More than a dusting. I mean, it was a couple of inches, but, I mean, look, it's New York. It's the Northeast. That snow, seriously, I'm not exaggerating, that snow wasn't on the ground more than 20 minutes before there were snow plows out everywhere clearing the streets. Now, we were in the financial district, and, I mean, there were big trucks with the big clearing blades on the front, like garbage trucks, but had these big blades on the front to clear the street. They were out immediately, and you didn't have to stay inside. You could walk around, just had to watch your step because it would be a little bit slick. So, but now they're really getting pounded. The big stuff is coming in now, so I am glad that I'm out of there from that standpoint. So the football game, let's talk about it. 888-898-2525. Let's talk about the state of Clemson football. Let's talk about where it goes from here. Is really the Dabo Swinney era over? I know he's still coaching, but is the era of high-level success at Clemson over? 7-6 this year, a year removed from making the playoff and making a first-round exit. I mean, you are a Clemson fan, and you've been around Clemson football for the better part, let's say, of the last 10 years, and you got spoiled. You got spoiled by that great run, and you expect it every year. But, you know, it's not happening. It's not happening every year. I think one thing that just sort of you've got to give Dabo Swinney a little bit of a break here because they did make the playoffs last year, even though they backdoored their way into it. Yes, they backdoored their way into it because of the help they got from Syracuse beating Miami, which allowed them to get into the ACC championship game. And they pulled that off by a foot and got into the playoff and got beat in the first round. But it does count as a playoff appearance, so you don't want to take anything away from the fact that they earned that. But from the very beginning of this year, from the second half of the LSU game, a lot of trouble sites on that team in terms of performance, in terms of coaching, in terms of personnel. And you wonder why Clemson, why they're in that situation with their tradition and their culture and their history and their stability on the coaching staff. Why did all this happen? Where did they make mistakes? Is it simply because they didn't hit the portal hard enough? I mean, I don't know. Is it smarter to take a portal guy from a lesser program who might have been a starter? It might have been a good player in his league. But you take him and you use him over a high school player who would be a freshman, but a high school player heavily recruited, a lot of recruiting notoriety, a lot of promise, someone you could develop maybe even pretty quickly, like a Brandon Jacobs, and get him in the lineup in a hurry. Is it better to go that route or better to go the portal route? Because the portal route isn't always the answer. For the little bit that Clemson used the portal to help with the 25 roster, they did okay, but they didn't stretch themselves out. I mean, Will Helt was obviously a success at defensive end. Tristan Smith was obviously a contributor at wide receiver. Alexander was obviously a contributor at linebacker. So they kind of went 3 for 3. They kind of went 3 for 3, and they only dipped down to a lower level to get Smith, who gave them a bigger receiver. And the other guys came from Purdue and from Alabama, so they came from big-time programs. They were ready to step in and help out right away. So, I mean, that's a question. And Dabo Swinney, of course, has always believed in going the high school route. And as I'm talking, Larry Williams is just breaking news on Tiger Illustrated. This coming out 1 minute ago. Clemson offensive coordinator Garrett Riley and safeties coach Mickey Kahn are out. This is according to Larry Williams from Tiger Illustrated, who has been projecting this. He's been projecting major moves on the Clemson staff going back a month or so. And now the news is finally breaking. Again, this is from Larry Williams, Tiger Illustrated, coming out like 60 seconds ago. Headline, Garrett Riley, Mickey Kahn out. Dabo Swinney has fired his offensive coordinator and longtime secondary coach, sources tell Tiger Illustrated. 2 days after the season ended, Swinney parted ways with Garrett Riley and Mickey Kahn. Looking for anything else here besides the history.
The university has confirmed it, by the way.
The university has confirmed it, by the way. By the way, that's the voice of?
The plumber.
Thank you. So, there you go. That news just breaking from Clemson. So, Dabo Swinney is making moves. And where does he go? Where does he go? Usually, his history has been when he fires coaches, he's got somebody waiting in the wings. I don't believe it took him very long to hire Garrett Riley after he fired Brandon Streeter. I have to go back and check, but I don't think it took very long. So I wonder if he's got somebody lined up. Who will that be, and what will their philosophy be? What kind of offense will they be bringing? And is Christopher Vezina the answer at quarterback for the Tigers? At this stage right now, Clemson will go into the 26th season. And by the way, one thing I was hearing, scuttlebutt up at Yankee Stadium, was that right now, everybody's been thinking Clemson will play LSU in their opener in Baton Rouge, but there's some talk of moving the Charleston Southern game. Charleston Southern's on their schedule for 26, moving the Charleston Southern game to the week prior, week 0, to give Clemson a win and a game against a lighter opponent to get to work out some of the kinks before they go down to LSU. Don't know if that's going to happen. It's not saying it's official. It's just some of the stuff that I was hearing. And so so now the search begins for the new offensive coordinator. And do they have a quarterback in their program right now who's good enough to take them to the next level? That's going to be a big question mark, Or maybe they've recruited 2 quarterbacks in this freshman class. Or do they have to go to the portal and find someone to come in and help them at the quarterback position? So once again, if you're just tuning in, Garrett Riley fired at Clemson and Mickey Kahn. I mean, both of those firings had to be difficult for Swinney. On the one hand, he's admitting the Garrett Riley experiment or experience did not work. He's admitting that hire did not work. Just as he admitted that promoting Brandon Streeter to the job did not work. Mickey Kahn has been practically a lifelong friend of Dabo Swinney's. College roommates, been friends, of course, ever since. He recruited a lot of Mickey Kahn's players out of high school when he was at, I believe he was at Grayson. I think he was at Grayson in Loganville, Georgia. This had to be particularly tough, but the Clemson secondary had just become a mess. It had just become a mess, and, highlighted by the play that led to the 73-yard touchdown pass where 2 guys ran into each other again. A safety and a corner that come together to hit the receiver, and they bounce off each other. The receiver stays on his feet, and he goes 73 yards for a touchdown. That kind of stuff, plus all the other times receivers are running wide open. So that's going to be addressed. And you wonder there if he's got Tom Allen, he's like, Tom Allen, you're the DC. I'm putting the defense in your hands, and you go and handle that situation and hire who you want to hire. Maybe he makes his son the secondary coach. They talked about how things improved when the son started taking over more responsibility in the secondary room. Maybe he makes Tom Allen Jr. the safeties coach. Notice that Mike Reed is still there. Nothing with Mike Reed, just safeties coach Mickey Kahn. So Mike Reed is still there. Or you could take Mike Reed and make him like a Torian Gray and give him the entire secondary safeties and cornerbacks. But they have split that job for so many years, I kind of doubt they would do that. They've just seemed to always have had a safety coach and a cornerbacks coach. I can't see that happening. So I would imagine that Tom Allen would have a lot to say there on that. And I would imagine the new offensive coordinator and quarterback coach may have something to say about some assistants on the offensive side. There could be some more changes there based on who this new OC wants to bring in to work with him. That's what happened with South Carolina, of course. And it's interesting. Which program seems to be the more stable program right now? I mean, I think that Sweeney's probably his contract makes it tough. But, I mean, if Clemson has a down year in 2026, another 7 or 8 win season, that would really, really put the pressure on the administration there to take a close look at things, because you can't ignore the decline from where the program was to where it is now, except for the one playoff appearance that they sort of lucked into. It's been a decline since the days of Trevor Lawrence. And so you got to, Graham Neff, I'm sure he doesn't want to be that guy to have to do that thing. But if things don't pick up, then you start losing money from boosters and et cetera. You have to make that hard decision. But then again, I think Shane Beamer's on a very short leash now at South Carolina. Even though there's a little bit of a feel-good going on at South Carolina right now with the new hires. I think everybody seems to be happy about what he's done with these new coaches that he has brought in. Losing Sterling Lucas was a blow, but the guy that he hired, Deion Barnes, seems to be a home run hire as well. So all that seems to be working in Shane Beamer's favor, and sort of, nothing's going to – you can't put enough lipstick on the pig of that season to cover that up. 4-8 is 4-8, and it's hard to hide from that. But his off-season moves have worked. He's had key players announce they're coming back, and Matthew Fuller announced today that he's coming back. By the way, what am I missing here? Plummer, help me out. What am I missing here? And I got kind of sucked into it with the DQ Smith announcement because I put it up as a story. But maybe I shouldn't have. But what am I missing here with players who have no eligibility left for college under the current rules? They have no eligibility. They've played their 4 seasons unless they're going to pursue legal action. What am I missing when they're declaring for the draft when they have no other options? Why are we having players who are out of eligibility, putting out these graphics, thanking everybody? I get that you want to thank everybody when you're leaving, but then announcing that they're declaring for the draft. You don't have any other options except go get a real job.
I don't think you're missing anything
that I know of.
I don't get it either. That makes no sense to me.
I'm really, it's like, who did that today? Adam Randall from Clemson. Bless his heart. He did a great job for Clemson as a receiver and a running back, and he deserves all the credit, and he put out a thank you to everybody, but and then he announces he's declaring for the draft. But dude, you don't have any other choice. I wonder how much it is that the agents are behind these guys doing that, put out a thank you message to the fans, but declaring for the draft is just stupid. Unless you were planning on, again, taking the NCAA to court to try to get another season of eligibility. If you've played your 4 seasons, and played the games, more than 4 games in a season to count for a full season, unless you have some sort of injury argument to fall back on, you haven't redshirted. You don't have any other options right now under the current rules. So, come on, guys. You don't need to be doing that kind of stuff. It's not necessary. You're going to send out a message to thank everybody, so be it. But declaring for the draft when you have no other options to turn to, that's not really declaring for the draft. That's saying, I hope to make the NFL next season because that's got to be the next step in my career. Just like these guys who announce their transfers by giving you a whole spiel about how much they love the place before they tell you how quickly they're the door. Okay, we'll be right back.
The holidays are here, and Founders Federal Credit Union wants to make them brighter. Right now, when you open a home equity line of credit, you'll get up to $750 toward closing costs. That's more in your pocket for home improvements, debt consolidation, major purchases, unexpected expenses, a vacation, or getting caught up on your Christmas presents. The possibilities are endless. Imagine starting the new year with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends December 31st. Save more and make this holiday season one to remember. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates and flexible terms designed to fit your budget. Don't miss this chance to turn your home's equity into the gift that keeps on giving. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. In fact, the lottery has raised more than $200 million for state school buses to get our students to school safely every day. Then, the lottery helps those students go even further in their education by funding the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. So remember, when you play the lottery, you're keeping South Carolina students on the road to success. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Welcome back. Coming to you from the Coastal Studios tonight. In fact, plan tomorrow night is to be over at the Beach Ball Classic in Myrtle Beach. You know, that's ongoing as we speak. So working on plans to broadcast from there tomorrow night. Here is the release from Clemson, which I'm just now getting my eyes on in the email box. Head coach Dabo Swinney announced today that Garrett Riley and Mickey Kahn will not return to the staff in 2026. Here are comments from Dabo Swinney, quote, "I have made the decision to make a change at offensive coordinator. This was a very difficult decision. These decisions are never easy, especially when you really love and care for the people that are involved, and I deeply love and care for Garrett Riley and his family. At the end of the day, we just did not get the production and the results that we needed. I just feel like it is time for a change. And so we will be moving in a different direction with a new offensive coordinator." And then he continues by thanking him. And then he goes to the next paragraph, quote, "We will also have a change with the leadership of our safeties with the departure of Mickey Kahn. Coach Kahn is someone that I've known since 1990. He is truly family to me. He has done an outstanding job here at Clemson. He has been with us since 2016, 10 years, and he's been coaching the safeties since 2017 and coached a bunch of great safeties for us, including R.J. Mickens, who's a starting safety in the NFL as a rookie this year." He goes on to thank Mickey Kahn for his contributions. And he continues and wraps it up, quote, "I am excited about the plan we have in place for our secondary and our defensive staff. And I am looking forward to identifying the right leader for our offense to help achieve our goals for 2026 and beyond," end quote, from Dabo Swinney. So there you go. That's at least two coaching changes at Clemson for now, and you'll wonder if there'll be others coming down the road. But at least for now, the head coach seems to be satisfied with just making those two moves. A couple of other quick things. Got a lot of news notes today, a lot of things to talk about, and we'll get into all of that as we move on through the show. But a couple of other things I wanted to mention. Presbyterian promoted from within to replace Steve Englehart as head coach. They have promoted Coach Matt.
Corn, you there? Corn. Well, seems like we lost Corn once again.
Becomes the 18th head coach in PC history.
Back up, Corn. We lost you for about 5
seconds. They'll have a press conference
seconds
on Monday to formally introduce him.
Corn, we lost you for 5 seconds.
Okay, are we back?
I think we're back, yes. Yes, you're back.
Okay, are we back?
We are back. You're very delayed,
okay.
But yes, you're back.
Okay, well, don't get too excited. Okay, so I was saying that PC has hired Matt Rawle, promoted him from offensive line coach to be their head football coach, the 18th in the program's history, 24 years of coaching experience as an assistant coach. He'd been the offensive line coach and run game coordinator and
That would be Corn lost again. Let's see if we can try to reconnect with him. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Corn. Okay, well.
Coggins.
Can you hear me, Corn?
From WKDK in Newberry has informed me that Todd Knight, and I'm seeing it now, Todd Knight is the National Coach of the Year. The Newberry coach is the Division II National Coach of the Year by D2 Football. And a historic year at Newberry as well, as they made the semifinals of the D2 playoffs this year and had a fantastic season. So well-deserved there for Todd Knight, who has had a great run as a Newberry coach. Had a couple of lean years, last couple of years.
Well, it appears we've lost Corn, and it keeps going out. So we're going to just head to the phones for the last minute of this segment until we go to the break, because I don't see Phil coming back anytime soon. The delay's too high, so we're going to go to our first call, Keith in Camden, because I don't see Phil coming back for the next minute. Keith, how you doing tonight?
Hey, bud, man, you got the whole show by yourself now. Run with it.
I'm trying to. I don't know. Phil's out down at the beach. He's probably sitting on the beach with his Speedo. I'm trying to do it all by myself.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll just listen in. I'm sure you'll do fine. I didn't have much. Just wanted to see how Phil's Christmas was and yours. So I'll hang up and hang in there. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope your Christmas was good, and you have a great night as well. We're going to go to the break here in just a moment. Phil's connecting, disconnecting. I'm not sure what's going on. I see him popping up, popping away. It's a great night here on Sports Talk. Almost the new year. So we'll be back here in just a few moments. Stay tuned. You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 28. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but will only warm up to 49 degrees as a high. The sun continues Wednesday. We're a bit warmer. 54 is our high temperature. For New Year's Day on Thursday, look for a nice day. Very nice. In fact, mostly sunshine-filled skies. We'll have a high up to 59 or 60. Next chance for rain looks like Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you're feeling the weight of the world, how about visiting Spa MD in West Columbia? Marcy and her team can provide that perfect massage for individuals or even a couple. Lainey's been several times. She comes home completely revitalized. For a gift, if you're in the doghouse, or just because you love her, check out their options at visitspamd.com or call 251-9400. Leave your stress behind, because you know what? You deserve this getaway. Spa MD, 251-9400.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A strengthening bomb cyclone is barreling across the northern United States, unleashing severe winter weather in the Midwest and aiming at the East Coast. The storm brought blizzard conditions, treacherous travel, and widespread power outages Monday across the plains and Great Lakes. Forecasters say the storm intensified rapidly, meeting the criteria of what's known as a bomb cyclone. The Chinese military says it dispatched air, navy, and missile units to conduct joint live fire drills around Taiwan to warn against what it calls separatist and external interference forces. Taiwan says it has placed its forces on alert and called the Beijing government the biggest destroyer of peace. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 249 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Sometimes timing is everything, and I've been talking the talk about Broker Solar for a good minute. I'm a fan. I've had some point listeners ask me about Broker Solar. They're on the fence because of what's going on in D.C. Now that the politics have settled, we know what's in that big, beautiful bill. We know the federal tax credit for getting solar power at your home. It's going to end in December, so the clock is ticking. You want that 30% federal tax credit, believe me. So we need to get Ken out to your place before they cut it. Plus, you'll still get a 25% tax credit here in South Carolina. So yeah, timing is everything. 30% federal, 25% state credit. Are you kidding me? That's a big part of the cost already knocked out for solar power. It's time for you to take control of your own power bill. Like I said, timing's everything. Now is the time. Online, it's brokersolar.com, or just call Ken and his team. 807-7417. That's 807-7417. brokersolar.com.
When your temperatures swing, your comfort shouldn't. At Sweet Comfort Services, we make sure your system's ready for anything. Get our $99 preventative maintenance, a full inspection and tune-up that keeps your equipment efficient, reliable, and safe. Thinking it's time for an upgrade? We offer estimates on new Goodman and American Standard systems. You'll get honest advice, fair pricing, and expert installation. No gimmicks, no surprises. Call 803-331-8143 or visit sweetcomfortservices.com to schedule today.
Sleep better, dream better, right here at home. Best Mattress has built a legacy of comfort in the Midlands for 97 years. Family owned, locally crafted. Visit West Columbia, Divine Street, or our newest Lexington showroom by the amphitheater to experience real American-made quality. Discover your perfect mattress with our custom comfort test. Plus, get white glove delivery and a reassuring 90-day comfort warranty. No offshore shortcuts, just honest local value. Visit bestmattress.net. Best Mattress. Sleep local, sleep better.
This fall, discover a place where friendly faces greet you at the door. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington. Greg Lynette and their welcoming team make every visit a breeze with expert advice and genuine hometown care. No more endless aisles or big box blues. Just quality products and people who want to know your name. For every project, big or small, find what you need and a neighborly smile at 2028 Augusta Highway. Shop local. Shop happy. McCoy's Hardware of Lexington.
You've got the power to take control of how your energy works for you. The power to use less energy without giving up comfort. Dominion Energy has tools, tips, and programs to help you save your way. Get started at dominionenergy.com/savings.
Hi, this is Chris Neely, Superintendent of the South Carolina Public Charter School District. I hope you'll join Kevin and me each Tuesday afternoon. We'll bring you Kids First, where we talk about educational issues and what we're doing to teach kids the right way. It's Kids First, Tuesday at 5:30 right here on 100.7 The Point.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
The holidays are here, and Founders Federal Credit Union wants to make them brighter. Right now, when you open a home equity line of credit, you'll get up to $750 toward closing costs. That's more in your pocket for home improvement, debt consolidation, major purchases, unexpected expenses, a vacation, or getting caught up on your Christmas presents. The possibilities are endless. Imagine starting the new year with financial flexibility and peace of mind. But hurry, this special offer ends December 31st. Save more and make this holiday season one to remember. Plus, you'll enjoy competitive rates and flexible terms designed to fit your budget. Don't miss this chance to turn your home's equity into the gift that keeps on giving. Visit foundersfcu.com/HELOC for more information. Membership qualification required. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Equal housing lender. See website for details.
Folks, the plumber has hijacked the show. This is Sports Talk Media Network. It's a Manic Monday. Zach Willis coming up at 7:35. But right now, since Phil Kornblut is disconnected, he is out. I'm not sure what's going on. I see him pop up, but see him disconnect. On the phone with him, got the internet issues. It's 2025 and internet does not work. If you're just tuning in, Clemson has announced Garrett Riley and Mickey Kahn are out. They have been released, I guess is the term, fired. They are out at Clemson. So they will look for a new offensive coordinator and a new safeties coach. Right now we will head to the box is what I'll call it. And we're going to listen to Dabo Sweeney and Cade Klubnik following the post game or following the game up in New York on Saturday. So we'll tune in to some Dabo Sweeney here from New York. Stay tuned.
Obviously, game did not get the result we wanted or worked for. Had great preparation, but it's all about execution. We didn't execute, and especially early in the first quarter, offensively. 3 third downs all there, and we dropped the ball, and then we got another 3rd and 2, and we don't block the corner. That's exactly what we practiced, exact look, and so we just did not execute and get off to the start that we needed to have. So incredibly disappointing. With the result, big picture of the game, again, offensively is drops, took a couple sacks we shouldn't have taken, but just for whatever reason couldn't hang on the ball. Critical drops at critical times, and that kills drives. It's first downs that you don't get. It's more field position that you don't get. It's more opportunity to go score that you don't get. So really disappointed with that. Offensively, I did think we found a little rhythm there late, but we only had one possession in the third quarter. So kind of stood over on the sideline the whole third quarter. But hey, it's 6-3. It's 6-3 in the fourth quarter, and you got every opportunity, kind of a ugly game, but got every opportunity to go win the game. And, defensively, just really poor. We played really good the first 29 minutes of the game. And from 1 minute in the second half, or the first half, through the end of the game, really poor. And just poor critical awareness from some situational stuff. 1 minute to go, and they got no timeouts, and and we're just giving up the outside throw. Just giving it up, no timeouts, just poor awareness on what we need to do in that situation, and they get a field goal. And, that's a critical field goal in that moment. And so that was a really disappointing thing. And then they had 269 yards in the second half, so didn't deserve to win the game. The critical stops, we didn't get them. It's 6-3, it's 3rd and 9, and it's a 73-yard touchdown. Like Keystone Cops out there, just banging into each other, knocking each other off, and kidding, just it's hard to watch. And then we battle back, we get the score, and again, when we had one possession in the third quarter, 3rd and 7, got to have it, got to get the stop. You got a chance, plenty of timeouts to go win the game, because they're going to have to punt it right there if we get a stop, and it's another big play. So that's kind of been the story of our defense all year. We've just been really poor pass defense. We've been a pretty good third down defense, but we were horrendous today. 11-19, not going to win many games. So again, that leads to time of possession, that leads to field position. They didn't score a lot of points in the first 3 quarters, and then again, the 2 plays kind of kept them alive. The one big play touchdown, and then the one on 3rd and 7. So just not winning football, and then special teams. Just really disappointed in the miscommunication on the opening punch. It just shouldn't happen. And I'll take ownership of that, but that's not something we called. And so just disappointed with that. Gave them 3 points. Defense went out there and held them. And again, plenty of opportunity to win the game, but the third downs, the big plays in critical situations, and then offensively just the drops. I quit counting at 7. I know there was at least 7, maybe 8. So just too many missed opportunities, and it's hard to win those games. But both teams played hard, and so disappointed with the result. But I'm still proud, regardless of the result. I'm really proud of this football team. From where we were, we did a poor job of winning close games this year. We just did. We had some close games and some opportunities to win some games early, didn't get it done. And we were a team that was disappointed and lost some confidence. And you're sitting there 3-5 and looking at a losing season and kind of a gauntlet ahead. So, again, regardless of this result tonight, I'm really proud of this team's fight, their heart, their will to get up and keep competing. And I'd say the same thing about Penn State. So I think we're both 7-6, and they had some heartbreakers this year too. They're not that far away. There were a few plays, and then obviously they let the coach go and all that type of stuff. Quarterback gets hurt, so again, the season is over. That's a part of our story. That one's done. Now it's about resetting. But again, I'll say this: I'm really proud of this group for their fight, for their effort. They could have laid down. They didn't do that. They never quit. They kept battling all the way to the end today. And I'm so thankful for these seniors. This is it's always sad when it comes to an end, and when a season comes to an end, certainly when a career comes to an end, because these are guys that you've done a lot of life with. You've known most of them since high school, and they've been here 4 or 5, some cases 6 years. So I'm just thankful that and it's been a blessing to just be a part of their journey and a part of their story. And I also know, again, this season didn't go the way we wanted or the way they worked, and the leadership was tremendous, and the results didn't match that. But these guys are so equipped for whatever comes next in their life, and I'm just forever grateful for them, thankful for them. They're all going to do great things in life. They're all champions. They won the championship last year. So they've done great things. They've had big moments. Again, this season will just be a part of their journey, and they're made of the right stuff, so it'll develop them, and they'll take the lessons from it and take it into whatever next chapter that they're going to have as they continue to live out their journey and their story. So really appreciate them, and then appreciate the Pinstripe Bowl, the Bad Boy Mowers. Just so thankful for the opportunity to experience New York. It was an amazing trip. Didn't get the result, but an amazing trip and an amazing experience. Mark, Johnny Mosley, Randy Levine, the Steinbrenner family, just really just so appreciative of all their work that they did to make this a great week and a great experience for our team. Our team did an amazing job. We had no issues all week. You're right here in Times Square with 100-something 18 to 23-year-olds, and, man, they handled themselves well. Had no issues, no curfew issues, no late to meetings, nothing. They did a great job. So just forever thankful for these guys, and I appreciate all the people who came out to support us today. And I apologize we didn't get the result that we all wanted, but that's football. And so now for us as a team, it's about, we'll decompress on the season. Already done a lot of that, and put our eyes on what's next. And these guys will get a few days off. School starts on the 7th. We'll have a staff meeting here early part. Obviously, the portal opens on the 2nd, so we'll have some recruiting we got to do there, and then team meeting on the 9th, and it'll be a new team, and we'll have a banquet on the 10th, and we'll celebrate this group, this amazing group of people that means so much to me. And then we'll put our eyes on to 2026 and see if we can have a better season this time next year. And with that, I'll take your questions.
There you go. That's Dabo Swinney back with you now. Apologize for the technical snafus. Hopefully we've got everything tightened up and worked out now, so we won't have any more issues the rest of the show. Thank you, Plummer, for stepping in there real quick. Sometimes technology just gets the better of you. So that was Dabo Swinney, some of his comments from the post game at Yankee Stadium on Saturday afternoon at the Tigers' 22-10 loss to Penn State to end their season at 7-6. And again, if you are just tuning in to the program, you're listening to that, you haven't heard the news that a little bit after 6 o'clock, Clemson announced that Dabo Swinney had fired Garrett Riley as his offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. He had fired Mickey Kahn as his safeties coach. So 2 coaching moves announced today by Clemson from Dabo Swinney. Okay, sorry that I missed Keith's phone call, but the Plumber took care of that. But I made sure I got back on the air for this one. If he's still with us, let's go to Tiger Bryan. We lost Tiger Bryan.
Yeah, he wanted me to take his phone call, and he didn't want you to answer. So.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Tiger Bryan. Call back if you'd like to join us. Phone lines are now open. 888-898-2525. 888-898-2525. And our text line number is 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. And our text line and our poll question of the week, they are brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia and in Lexington. Reminder to reach out to Larry for all your insurance needs. The Columbia office number is 803-799-1998. The Lexington office number is 803-359-0770. And our poll question of the week has to do with Clemson and what's going on with the Tigers. And the poll question of the week, which you can find on our X account as well as on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. And after a 7-6 season, what's the number one course of action for Dabo Swinney to turn Clemson around in 2026? Is it A, fire several coaches, B, recruit at least 10 portal transfers, including a quarterback, or C, stay the course because he believes they aren't far off? And as you heard him say in his postgame, he really believes that they aren't far off, that they're very close. Others might disagree with that. Yeah, they had some close losses, but they also had some not-so-close losses. And the other thing is that Dabo Swinney has now kind of gotten into the habit in the last couple of years, maybe 3 years even, of constantly reciting the good things that he has done at Clemson. You know, as one streak comes to an end after another, he's gotten to where he wants to recite the history of what the Tigers have done as a way of defending himself and trying to quiet the critics, to remind everybody, hey, you know, we did things here that nobody had done with regularity prior to Danny Ford. Now, Danny Ford, you know, they won a national championship. And they were a power in the ACC for an extended run. But then after that, it went it went dry for Clemson for the most part until Dabo Swinney came in and was able to raise the program to a national level. Getting it there was one thing. Keeping it there was another. And he deserves his flowers for the fact that he got it there and he kept it there for a fairly extended period of time. Not like the Alabama period of time or the what Oklahoma did back in the day or what Ohio State's kind of doing right now. But Clemson got to the top with Deshaun Watson at quarterback and Terry Bryant at quarterback and then Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. And they had that run, which, falls a little bit below what some of those other everybody else has done. So, they were there. They were the kings of the mountaintop for a little while. Now they've slipped, and now they've dropped even more. And the question is, can Dabo Swinney get them back to the top of the mountain? Because after you've been there, that's where you want to be and that's where you want to stay. So as far as the voting goes, 40.9% of the votes in so far believe that he should recruit at least 10 players out of the portal, including a quarterback. 36.3% say stay the course. It's interesting, stay the course. And 22.7% say he should fire several coaches as his number one course of action to return the Tigers to a championship level. Again, you can vote. Stories on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and also on our X account, which is SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now. Okay, we'll hit the break. When we come back, we will bring you up to date on some other news notes. If you want to join us, phone lines are now clear, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/educationwins, and playing for fun is a win for education. And we will be right back.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. Whether you're on the water or going hunting on land, always tell someone where you're going. Be specific and tell them when you plan to return. Plan your hunt and hunt your plan. For more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
Download the free Go Outdoors SC app from SCDNR, buy licenses, report harvests, and carry everything digitally right on your phone. Go Outdoors SC.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there. Touchstone Energy Cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Back to the phones we go, 888-898-2525, Monday edition of Sports Talk with you live every night this week, except for Thursday. No show on New Year's night. So tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be with you here on Sports Talk live as we roll into 2026. Let's go to Andy in Columbia next with us here on Sports Talk. And welcome in, Andy. Great to have you with us. Happy New Year to you.
Well, happy early New Year to you there, Mr. Korn. Let me start off. I'm glad I kind of wish you were paying up yet now, because one of your headlines on your website, I believe you have a typo on it. The Darius Barnes recruiting.
Okay.
Has put Gamecocks on contention. I believe that should be has put the Gamecocks in contention.
Okay. I'll have to go back and look at that.
So, please do, sir. Now, another thing. Do you think maybe you should change your poll around since Dabo's already thrown the axe? Because that's one of the answers to your question.
Yeah. I'll have to think on that. It's the poll question of the week. It's supposed to last for the week.
Yeah, and it's already the beginning of the week, and he's already given you an answer to your
Well, maybe people
himself.
feel like firing coaches is not the answer. I mean, there's a lot of people who feel like he needs to go, that portaling is should be his number one movement, and not firing the coaches. So you know what? I ain't touching it.
I think. Okay, I was just making a suggestion there. My last question for you, Mr. Korn.
Yes.
How much money do they owe Garrett Riley for kicking him to the curb?
Oh, I'd have to look that up, and let's see. Now, he was there for
Wasn't
3
he
years.
making like $2 million a year?
Yeah, he was. But the thing is, he had a 3-year contract.
An extension?
That's what I have to check. I have to check on that. So during the top of the hour break, I'll look and see.
You know everything.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see during the top of the hour break.
I appreciate that. And welcome home. I hope you got a good corned beef sandwich while you were in New York.
I had a really good lox and bagel. Did try to go to Katz's.
Where I told you to go.
Well, I tried to go to Katz's. We tried to go to Katz's on the Lower East Side, but the line was around the block, so we said, to heck with that.
So, did you get deli anywhere, or did you not?
I just had a lox and bagel at a bagel place. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, man.
Well, I'm glad you had a good trip. Glad you got home safe, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, his contract ends January 31st of 2026. I don't recall that he had any extension on his contract. I have to go back through all my contracts and see. So, it sounds like to me that they have fulfilled his contract. And there's not going to be any – I mean, he's not being fired prior to the end of his contract that I can tell. Again, I'm trying to run a show and look all this up at the same time, and I'm just going to have to do a little more research because I don't recall that he got any sort of an extension during his 3 years there. I could be off on that, but I'm going to keep looking. Let's see. Jordan Searles, Mike Dooley, Jeff Davis, new hire, Kevin Kelly, Chris Rump, Joey Batson. No, I don't believe that he got anything like that. Okay, we'll be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump is putting Iran on notice. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
As he welcomed Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu for talks in Florida, the president warned Iran against reconstituting its nuclear program. He said the U.S. military would strike Iran hard if it attempts to rebuild that program. The president has insisted that Tehran's nuclear capabilities were obliterated after military strikes back in June. but Israeli officials have expressed concern about Iran rebuilding its long-range missile capability. Greg Clugston, Washington.
President Trump says Ukraine and Russia are closer than ever before to a peace deal, but he acknowledges that negotiations could still break down and leave the war dragging on for years.
President Trump hosted Zelensky at his Florida resort Sunday and insists that Ukraine and Russia are closer than ever before to a peace settlement, although he also noted that the U.S.-led negotiations could still collapse. Negotiators are still searching for a breakthrough on key issues, including whose forces withdraw from where and the fate of the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, which is one of the 10 biggest in the world. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A strengthening bomb cyclone is barreling across the northern United States, unleashing severe winter weather in the Midwest and aiming at the East Coast. The storm brought blizzard conditions, treacherous travel, and widespread power outages Monday across the Great Plains and Great Lakes. Forecasters say the storm intensified rapidly, meeting the criteria of what's known as a bomb cyclone. The sharp cold front left parts of the central U.S. waking up to temperatures 50 degrees colder than the day before. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 249 points. More at townhall.com.
What if 2026 could be the best year ever for your retirement? It can when you take control of your financial future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD right now and get your free gold rollover kit valued at $49, yours just for calling. More Americans than ever are discovering the power of rolling over a portion of their IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver. With a simple, tax and penalty-free rollover, you can add stability, security, and strength to your retirement. In times of inflation, uncertainty, or market swings, gold has been a steady, tangible, proven store of value. And in 2026, it could be the key to building the retirement you've always imagined. That's why so many people trust Advantage Gold, the #1 rated gold IRA company in America for 10 years running. Call 800-741-GOLD to get your free gold rollover kit. Call 800-741-GOLD and let 2026 be the year you finally take control. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Stocks stumble out of the gate.
Stocks closed lower on Wall Street at the start of another holiday-shortened week. The S&P 500 lost 0.3% Monday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 249 points. That's about 0.5%. The Nasdaq Composite also fell 0.5%. Energy stocks gained ground along with rise in crude oil prices. ExxonMobil rose 1.2%. Treasury yields fell in the bond market. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note dropped to 4.11%. Seth Sutel, New York.
The New York City transit system is retiring the Metro card after more than 30 years. The gold and blue swipeable card was introduced in 1994 to replace the subway token, which had been used for a half-century. The last sales and refills on Metro cards will be December 31st, though existing cards will still work for some time. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 28. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but will only warm up to 49 degrees as a high. The sun continues Wednesday. We're a bit warmer. 54 is our high temperature. For New Year's Day on Thursday, look for a nice day. Very nice. In fact, mostly sunshine-filled skies. We'll have a high up to 59 or 60. Next chance for rain looks like Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back on Sports Talk on this final Monday of 2025. Chris Bergen not with us. He'll be back with us. When will he be back with us? He's on the road with Coastal Carolina football. They play tomorrow in the Independence Bowl. And then I think he's back with us. Then he's got basketball coming up. So he's kind of in and out, but he will be back with us. I'm coming to you from our coastal studios. We have the plumber at our studios in downtown Columbia. And thank goodness we did have the plumber in there for emergency duties in the first hour. Thank you, plumber, for a job well done.
I don't know about a job well done. I can't say it was
don't become humble on me all of a sudden.
What are you talking about? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm not saying it was well done. I'm just saying that I was here when times were rough.
Well, in an emergency situation, something is better than nothing. And I kind of feel like we did something. So good job there. A few other quick notes. How about this from Keith Adams, departing Clemson running back? Usually when guys are transferring, they go on social media and they say their little spiel about how great it was, and they thank everybody, and they thank the coaches, they thank their teammates, and after reflection and prayer and conversation with my agent and family, I've decided to enter the transfer portal, John. Keith Adams went a little bit of a different route. He put out 3 different posts, one last night and 2 today, in which he said the following, quote, I was not used the right way at my previous school and have proven multiple times that I am worthy to play. I have 1 more year of eligibility, and I plan on making a huge impact on wherever I go. I guarantee I'll be the hardest running back to tackle in college football. I am not blaming anyone at all. I feel like it is right for me to stand up for myself and not be silent. I'm sure a lot of players go through the same thing. I lead a game in rushing playing less than 5 minutes. I didn't ask to start. I just wanted to play more. I didn't get that. I have shown nothing but respect to all the coaches, and I will continue to do that. I love them, and they know that. Please stop trying to twist my words against them. I just need an opportunity to showcase what I can do. Much love, and I respect you all regardless of opinion. End of quote from Keith Adams, Jr. Of course, he was a late take in the 22 recruiting class in which he was the only running back signed by the Tigers. After rushing for 1,376 yards and totaling 24 touchdowns as a high school senior in Utah. With the Tigers, he appeared in 32 games and had 58 carries for 274 yards and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 4.7 yards per carry. Of course, his dad was a great Clemson player, the Termite, Keith Adams, the original Keith Adams. The Termite, great linebacker. So, hey, social media, use it as you see fit. Should he have gotten more run? They had Adam Randall, who they moved over. Obviously, the coaching staff, C.J. Spiller, the running backs coach, the ex-offensive coordinator Garrett Riley, head coach Dabo Sweeney, didn't feel like he was their best running back, to the point where they had to move Adam Randall from wide receiver over to running back. And then, of course, Gideon Davidson came on board, and he emerged as the number 2 guy. And, Adams was just buried on the depth chart there at running back. So, in the coach's opinions, that's all that matters. They didn't feel he was good enough to carry the load for them at running back. So, maybe somewhere else he'll find some happiness and have an opportunity to carry the football. Speaking of Garrett Riley's contract, he did get, I finally found this and going back through previous contracts, this would have been after last season, where like every assistant coach got something. He got an extension only. He did not get a raise. He got an extension only. They added 1 year through January 31st of 2028. So if my figuring this out is correct, Clemson would owe him for the 26 season and the 27 season, with his contract set to expire January 31st of 2028. So I'm seeing this as they owe him for 2 seasons. It says in the contract, the buyout, full guarantee with mitigation. He did get some bonuses. He signed a $300,000 bonus. So his contract was $1.75. It wasn't $2 million. It was $1.75. He did get a $300,000 bonus when he signed with Clemson, so that put him over $200,000 there. But his actual total compensation, not counting bonuses, $1.75. He made it another $50,000 last year between the ACC championship and making the first round of the playoffs. He made another $50,000 there. So Clemson would owe him, if I'm understanding this correctly, they would owe him for 2 seasons at $1.75, unless he gets another coaching job, and then that buyout could be mitigated or would be mitigated based on how much he gets from his next job. So there you go. That's what I can figure out here at short notice. That's what I can figure out related to the Garrett Riley contract situation. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525. Did I mention that Matthew Fuller announced he'll return to South Carolina in 2026? He was a guy that got a little bit more playing time this past season, kind of developed as a power running back for the Gamecocks. I think he had like 3 starts during the season, and so he is coming back to the South Carolina running back room, so that will give them some help there. I tell you what, you need to keep an eye on this, and maybe this is a chance to excuse me. Maybe this is a chance to correct a mistake the first time around when you didn't recruit him. But Turbo Richard, the Northwestern graduate who spent 2 seasons at Boston College, is transferring, and he is a quality running back. If you saw him play at Boston College, especially this year, I mean, he became their number 1 running back this season. And, I would think South Carolina and Clemson would definitely take a look at him now. They did not recruit him coming out of high school for whatever reason. He committed relatively early to Boston College, and he stuck with that. But, he's a guy who had a very productive season at Boston College. He rushed for 1,027 yards and 11 touchdowns, and he caught 32 passes for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns in his 2 seasons there. This season, 749 yards and 8 touchdowns. So I would say he'd be someone to kind of keep a watch on if you're looking to add to your running back room, because he is a South Carolina native, and you should have a little bit, South Carolina, Clemson, other in-state schools, you should have a little bit of a pull there for him with that. Okay, let's go to Jamie at Hilton Head for our next phone call tonight here on Sports Talk. And Jamie, welcome in. How are you?
Good evening, Phil. How are you doing?
Okay, good to have you with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, first of all, I've been trying to call in for a while. It just hasn't worked out. But I want to commend the folks at Touchstone Energy Bowl and the good job that they do. I had a cousin of mine, second cousin of mine, played in the game, and he had a wonderful, wonderful experience, okay? I just want that out there. It was a wonderful experience for him and something he'll remember for the rest of his life.
That's excellent. Good to hear that.
Yes. I asked him, I said, what did you enjoy? He said, well, I really enjoyed taking the young man shopping that they did, and he said he enjoyed Top Golf. So just a wonderful experience all the way around for him.
Do you want to identify the young man?
No, I don't want to embarrass him, but he was on the North team.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
No problem.
I don't want to embarrass him, but now I've got to talk about this Clemson offensive coordinator search.
Sure.
I'm torn. I don't know that it was all Garrett Riley's fault. I just think the root of the problem is that they have missed on their quarterback the past 2 times, and Uwe Unglele and even Cade Klubnik. I really think so. Not saying it's anybody's fault, but they didn't seem to get better during their time at Clemson. So I just I still have every confidence in the world in Dabo Swinney. I think he's going to get this right. I don't think the impressive run is because the playing field has leveled so much with the transfer portal in college football. But I think Clemson will win multiple championships and have multiple playoff appearances under Dabo Swinney still. So I just I'm I don't know that he needs to be the only one to go, though. I think there needs to be more changes made. Some on the defensive side, maybe not Tom Allen, but maybe some position coaches on the defensive side.
Well, when you think about that, who you looking at? I mean, you're looking at Mike
maybe
Reed.
Nick Eason.
You're looking at Nick Eason. You're looking at Chris Rumpf. I mean, you look at the play of the defensive tackles this year. I mean, and these are guys that, well, you got 3 guys off that defense projected as basically top 25 picks in the draft, so they should have been better just from that standpoint alone. But I'd have to say that the defensive ends, now Helt came in, did a nice job. I don't think Parker had a great year until he showed up in the South Carolina game. And I don't think that Peter Woods was as dominant as he was expected to be. Yet that hasn't hurt his draft status whatsoever. I think the fact that he showed up every game and played except for the bowl game, he was out there fighting and trying, but I didn't see him have the kind of impact as other premier defensive tackles that Clemson has had over the years. So I don't know. Is that coaching? I don't know what it is. I mean, Nick Eason is a guy that you wouldn't really second guess as a coach because he's got great experience and he's been successful everywhere he's been. And same thing with Chris Rumpf. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem was.
I don't know. Well, I think they had to learn a new scheme, and I think maybe not saying that Tom Allen's not a great coordinator, but he had to learn a new scheme, and maybe they just didn't grasp it. The way that they was hoping they would. And I just, but I'll tell you, somebody I heard, I don't know the guy's name, but the Duke offensive coordinator, I heard maybe a candidate to come to Clemson.
Well, they saw him burn the Tiger defense with that passing game, that's for sure. But he's got a very special quarterback who's probably a superior quarterback to Klubnik. I mean, for all the things Klubnik did, I mean, he lost 14 games as a starting quarterback. I think his record was like 26-14 as a starting quarterback.
Something like that. Like that.
That's
it's
not elite. That's not elite, in today's world of quarterbacking for great teams.
No, it's not. But here's my thing. Here's where I'm really struggling. I mean, I think Coach Sweeney has taken Clemson to some very special places, and I know it's been in the past, but he's done enough that he deserves the right to be able to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And, I mean, again, you have to give him a little bit of time because going to the playoffs bought him some more time. Winning a championship, even though some say he backed his way into it, I disagree with that because he was had one of the top 2 records. He can't help it that Syracuse beat Miami, So we didn't back our way into anything. At the end of the day, we were one of the top 2 teams.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But you needed help. We're going to let you go so you can take care of your call. Thanks very much. You needed help. You didn't get into the championship game on your own because you lost to South Carolina, which didn't impact the ACC race, but you were already in a situation where you needed Syracuse to beat Miami or you weren't getting in to the ACC championship, and you would not have gone to the playoffs. And that would have been another year outside of the playoffs for Clemson. So, yeah, you backdoored your way. I can't agree with you on that, as much as I respect what you have to say. And you backdoored your way into that because, Syracuse, Miami, Syracuse came from way down. They were getting whipped by Miami, as I recall. Then they rallied to beat the Hurricanes, and that put Clemson in the championship game and gave them a chance, and they took advantage of it, and they won that game, and they went to the playoffs. So, but now that's a backdoor deal all the way. All right, thank you very much. Let's go to Brent in Mount Pleasant. Good to have you with us tonight, Brent. Happy New Year. Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hey, Phil. Happy New Year. So I was listening to Heath Klein's podcast today, and he gave you a shout out. And I'm kind of flipping over from Clemson. I'm a South Carolina fan, so I'm a little more concerned with what's going on there. But he had mentioned, I guess, a tweet that Shane Beamer put out to you about not knowing your facts in an article you had written about NIL and getting LaNorris and and our defensive end back throughout the NIL deals, and I think you would maybe put some numbers out there, and Shane was calling those numbers out, and he asked for you to get your sources straight or something to that effect.
Right.
I didn't read the article, so I don't know. But and also have a quick follow-up question. Just wondering about if you maybe feel like part of Shane Beamer's problem is he keeps getting in his own way with his petulance and his emotion. I think he's a great coach, but I think sometimes he acts like a stubborn 6-year-old. So, but I'll listen for your follow-up.
All right. Thank you so much.
Show.
Appreciate that. Appreciate Heath. So, just to tell you exactly what happened, since you're not exactly tuned into what happened. So, this would have been last week after South Carolina announced that Sellers and Stewart had signed their contracts for 2026 and would be back. And on the show, I said that that's a good thing for South Carolina. It shows they're stepping up and they're willing to pay the freight to keep their best players, which is what you've got to do. And I estimated at that time, I said, considering that Sellers reportedly was making 1.7 and Stewart was making reportedly $1 million, and I didn't know anything. I didn't claim to know anything. I just estimated that they were probably going to be making combined, not individually, combined about between $4 and $5 million for the two deals. And so one of my really good contacts, who's he's pretty much right all the time, just informed me that number was right. And so I put that out in a tweet that the combined NIL and share deal, I guess I used share and not NIL. You have to differentiate between the two. But I said it was going to be in the neighborhood of $5 million for the two of them based on what a source confirmed for me. And didn't really think that much about it because I didn't think anything negative about that. I thought that was nothing but a positive from the stand. I didn't write it to be positive, but when you look at it, it was just a positive piece of information for South Carolina. I wasn't trying to sugarcoat anything. That's just the facts. And I trust my source, and I put that out there as citing a source. And the next morning, I see where Shane Beamer has gone on social media. He didn't reach out to me, via a phone call or a direct message. He decided to put it out there publicly, and I didn't like it. He attacked my credibility by saying that I think he said it like it was way off. The figures were way off, and get better sources, that kind of nonsense. And then he put a hashtag in there about just for clicks? Is that what he put?
I have the entire post. He says, sounds to me like you need some much better sources. This isn't even remotely close to being true. Hashtag anything for clicks. Hashtag Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And I wrote him back. You have my tweet by chance?
Yeah. Let me pull it up right here.
Yeah. So we'll be accurate. For a change.
Yeah, so your original tweet was on the 23rd. He responded the Christmas Eve morning. Let's see. Scroll back. We tweet a lot, Phil.
We do. I said something like, first of all, we don't post for clicks.
Yeah.
That's the thing that most got under my skin was the thing about clicks, which is somebody's way of saying that you'll put anything out there to get attention, whether it's true or not. And obviously, that is not how we operate. That is never how we've operated. And that I did not appreciate. I thought that was to me personally, that was a low blow. And, but you know what? We criticize coaches here, and so coaches have a right to criticize as well. If you want to make it public like that, fine. The media is fair game from the other direction of the people that we discuss. We're fair game for them to fire back at us as they see fit. So that's what Shane Beamer chose to do. He chose to make it a public disagreement, so to speak. But
in your response, it says, first of all, we don't do anything for clicks. Secondly, if that information is incorrect, prove me wrong. Be transparent. Tell the public how much. I think they'd like to know. And happy holidays to you.
Yeah, that's right. I said, let's be transparent here. Let's quit hiding behind the cloak of darkness and show your hand here. And, of course, schools are trying as best they can as to not to be transparent. They don't want to, for whatever reason, they don't want to disclose how much they're paying the players. And they're going out of their way to do that across the board. I don't know how much, how much longer they can continue to do that, but I guess right now they're able to successfully pull that off. So, and so that took care of Sellers and Stewart, and then you had the next day you had Nick Harbor as well. So, who announced his return to South Carolina, and so, but here's the other thing that further confirmed what I already believed was correct information, because I wouldn't put anything out there I didn't believe was correct. You had, who was it in the national media? One of the national media guys. Was it Thimel? Pete Thimel? I think it was Pete Thimel who tweeted that Dylan Stewart was now going to be paid, will be among the highest paid players in college football, Dylan Stewart. So if Dylan Stewart's going to be among the highest paid players in college football, what do you think that puts him at financially? $3 million? $2.5 million? And if he is getting that, what do you think they're paying Lenore Sellers? So maybe I was underestimating. Maybe Beamer was saying you're $2 or $3 million under what we're paying them. I was saying between 4 and 5. Maybe it's between 7 and 8. And maybe he felt like I was insulting them by being too low. I don't know, and I don't care from that standpoint. I just know that my information was correct, and I stand by it even more so today. How can it, not more so, 100% then and 100% now. So that's what that was all about. So that was, appreciate you bringing that up, and we'll just go from here with all that. What was the other part of his question? What else did he ask about? He had another part of the question. Gosh, what was it about? I can't remember what the last part of the question was. But I appreciate the phone call and appreciate you bringing that up. So let's hit we got Zach Willis coming up. We got some recruiting coming up. Let's give you a few text messages here. I would have to say Fuller and Howell could run the football, but with that sieve of an offensive line and erratic play calling, not even Rocket Sanders could have been successful. I think you may eat your words about Howell and Fuller. Nonetheless, once they are in a consistent offensive scheme. Oh, okay, we'll see. I haven't seen enough. I don't think either one of them are elite running backs at this point in time. They're okay running backs. Howell came up from the MEAC. Fuller, South Carolina recruited. They're not even a Rocket Sanders, who's now proving himself on the NFL level. They're not elite running backs, at least not at this point. So, and I wanted to mention, too, that Rodney Newsome Jr., South Carolina offensive lineman, who started like 3 games this season, played in 11 after transferring in from Western Kentucky after starting his career at Memphis. He is entering the transfer portal, John. So that puts 6 offensive linemen and an even dozen Gamecocks hitting the transfer portal, John. Gamecock Tony from Lancaster, if Clemson is not that far away, South Carolina sure is not far away, because we played all the playoff teams pretty dang tough. But Clemson always gets babysitted. Yep, you played them tough, but you know what? You got to beat them. Playing them close doesn't get it done, and we'll be right back.
On Point weather on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and chilly this evening. A low temperature dipping down to 28. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine, but will only warm up to 49 degrees as a high. The sun continues Wednesday. We're a bit warmer. 54 is our high temperature. For New Year's Day on Thursday, look for a nice day. Very nice. In fact, mostly sunshine-filled skies. We'll have a high up to 59 or 60. Next chance for rain looks like Friday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
The Point. The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump warned Iran on Monday that the U.S. could carry out further military strikes if the country attempts to reconstitute its nuclear program, as he held wide-ranging talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at his home in Florida. Trump had previously insisted Tehran's nuclear capabilities were completely and fully obliterated by U.S. strikes on key nuclear enrichment sites in June. But with Netanyahu by his side, Trump raised the possibility that suspected activity could be taking place outside those sites. A strengthening bomb cyclone is barreling across the northern United States, unleashing severe winter weather in the Midwest and aiming at the East Coast. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 249 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Have you ever walked in and looked at how beautiful a Lexington Discount Homes manufactured home really is? For more than 35 years, Lexington Discount Homes has helped families find home ownership with phenomenal customer service and a selection that fits your needs and your wallet. They have a huge variety of homes and prices. Come by and visit us at 1847 Augusta Highway or take a virtual tour online at lexingtondiscounthomes.com. That's lexingtondiscounthomes.com.
Hey y'all, this is Ted at Flight Deck Restaurant. We are now introducing a fast and price breaker lunch special menu. Pick any item for only $9.95. Here's what we have to offer. Single grilled pork chops, spaghetti with house salad garlic bread, single grilled chicken, chicken salad cold plate, chicken tenders, small Greek salad, grilled bacon and cheese, small chef salad, pepperoni pita pizza, small chicken tender salad. All meals except salads come with one side. Come and enjoy a delicious lunch for only $9.95. Serving from 11 to 2 every day. Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington. Thanks y'all and God bless.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
Now, First and 10 with Zach Willis on the Sports Talk Media Network.
I just saw something else I don't understand. How can you have the National Hockey League Classic, Winter Classic? How can you have the National Hockey League Winter Classic in Miami? The first ever outdoor NHL game in Florida will be played at the home of the Miami Marlins. I hope it's 90 degrees. How can you play a hockey game outdoors in Miami? Things I continue to wonder about in this sports world, any opportunity to make $1. I mean, I love the Winter Classic, but you know what? It needs to be in winter land, not in tropic land. That doesn't make any sense to me, but nothing does anymore. Nothing made sense with Clemson on Saturday. Let's see if Zach Willis can make some sense of it. 1st and 10 with Coach Zach Willis as he joins us. By the way, we'll talk about the Clemson coaching thing, but Bruce Feldman, of course, one of the national reporters, always. These guys are always jumping out there and trying to get the first names out there, and it's somebody that I've talked about. I talked about with the South Carolina opening, and that is he's throwing Chad Morris's name out there to go back to Clemson. Chad Morris, he said somebody to watch, one to watch for the OC at Clemson, Chad Morris. Of course, his son was the quarterback at Virginia, and they had a great year, just finished up with 11 wins. I believe Chandler has finally run out of college eligibility, but you never know with today's world of college eligibility. But anyway, Bruce Feldman reporting that. So let's welcome in Coach Willis, and before we talk about the coaching changes at Clemson, welcome in. Hope you had a great holiday, you and the family. And Clemson in the snow at Yankee Stadium. It was a great setting. I haven't talked enough about it. I have to say that being a Yankee fan, it was a great experience. My seat was in the press box that had it been a baseball game, I would have been directly above home plate. I mean, I could not have had a better seat. Now, from a football watching standpoint, it wasn't great because the teams were, from where I was sitting, they were going north and south. So I was getting the back end view or the oncoming view, not the sideline view that you prefer. So I got to see some holes open up, and I got to see some holes being closed, but it was really, it's not the best way to try to follow the action like you're watching on television. All that being said, it was a great experience. New York City's New York City, and the bowl game, the bowl people there did a tremendous job trying to make everybody as comfortable and as happy as possible. So, that being said, what'd you think of Clemson, the performance, and the way they approach things from what you could tell?
I just feel that they were really handicapped by losing all those players. You know, when I looked up and looked at their defense to start off and just could not recognize anybody until you get to Sammy Brown. And they had a lot of guys that were off, that were not there, and it really hurt them, especially in the second half. I thought they played pretty good early on, but again, Penn State's not great either and didn't have their starting quarterback.
That's right, yeah. They were down but their backup quarterback played excellent, and they didn't let the weather affect them. I don't think Clemson really let the weather affect them either. But, you know, the Penn State, some of their players were in the pregame walking around without any shirts on saying, hey, man, this is our kind of weather, no problem. Kind of reminded me when South Carolina played Connecticut in the Papa John's Bowl in Birmingham that year, and it was like 20 degrees, and I mean, the Gamecocks couldn't get off the field fast enough, and Connecticut was out there frolicking in that weather. So it's a mindset. But their quarterback didn't have any trouble. He diced up the Clemson defense for, 260-something yards, 262 yards, and the Clemson secondary continued to have problems. I guess that's why Mickey Kahn was fired today.
Yeah, but I think, Phil, that's been coming for a while, just watching and talking to some of my buddies, coaching buddies, especially about the game. You know, guys that played DB with me at Furman, that kind of thing, they were really shocked at how poorly they were playing fundamentally. And the big thing there is across the board, what I see out of Clemson on the negative side is a lack of player development. These kids are not getting any better from year to year. The Brown kid at wide receiver, you know, has not been in much this year. He got a chance to play a lot, and he was a fantastic player last year as a true freshman, but really nothing came after that. I just didn't see any improvement out of him at all, and that's kind of a microcosm of what they've been having to deal with.
And so you look at the way they performed, I mean, really from their opening possession where they had a miscommunication on a fake punt attempt that nobody caught the audible, which, I mean, obviously they had run that in practice. They had practiced that in practice, but How is it that only the punter knew that they had audible? I mean, you think they just didn't hear across the board there? They just didn't hear him make the change?
Well, I mean, if you can hear it in Death Valley, where they are about as loud as anywhere you go play, and I know they're probably not yelling that loud when Clemson's on the field, but they play at Florida State. They play all over the place with crowds as big as Yankee Stadium. And from what I saw of the stadium, it wasn't right up on them. I don't think crowd noise had anything to do with it, and it looked to me like, honestly, it was a good audible. If you're going to take a risk, the kid was cheating inside like he was coming off the edge to block the punt. If he'd lobbed it up and the guy had been looking for it, it would have been a completion. But it came off not looking well at all, that's for sure.
Yeah. Not much of a running game for Clemson either. Tigers only running for 43 yards. And again, that's been a problem for them, or that was a problem for them throughout the season, putting together any kind of a running game against an opponent with a defense that has a pulse. The running game just wasn't there, which was kind of hard to understand because until some of their offensive linemen were hurt, they had a veteran group. They had a talented group up front. What did you see anything in common with the offensive linemen throughout the season that led to their issues in the run game?
Part of it's pad level. They basically play in a 2-point stance all the time. And to me, a lot of people say that doesn't matter, but unless you really exaggerate a 2-point stance, you're not going to get the forward momentum and you're not going to get the pad level you need to drive Division I players off the football. And, I felt like since Coach Caldwell hung it up, the physicality has just not been there. And I don't have the same relationship with the coach they have now, not even close. Coach Caldwell recruited me out of high school to Furman and then went to NC State. And I knew quite a bit about what they were doing, and I don't know what they're doing now, but the 2-point stance thing is a real challenge anyway, and the offensive coordinators they've had have wanted to do it. But to be honest with you, it puts the offensive lineman at a disadvantage from pad level, and low man's going to win, and your man Vince Lombardi, Coach Bryant at Alabama, hammered that home, and how many championships between them did they win? So I really think fundamentals are the key to this entire problem at Clemson because they've definitely got the talent. There's no doubt about that.
So you look at the fact that they had at least, 6 or 7 drops as well. That didn't help. They came at crucial times. Tigers only converted 5 of 15 on third down. Penn State, 11 of 19. That was another thing. The defense couldn't get off the field. They couldn't get a stop in the fourth quarter after they scored their touchdown and pulled within 15-10. You needed to get a stop. They couldn't get a stop. And that's just so unusual of Clemson in the past. And how do they get back? How do they get back to where they were from where you see it?
Well, first of all, they had the entire defensive line. The front was gone. I didn't really recognize too many numbers up there. And that's part of it. The other part is the scheme. They're trying to read hats. A lot of times at the South Carolina game, I thought they kind of figured it out because they started taking gaps and blowing them up and penetrating, which is what most teams do now, whether they say it or not. And Clemson's so athletic up front. You don't want to take those guys and try to take them right down the middle of an offensive lineman who's probably not nearly as athletic as they are. Now, Penn State probably had some really athletic offensive linemen. These were two. They could have called this the Underachievers Bowl, for lack of a better term, for both of these teams for various reasons. But, the D-line was struggling against the run. I thought Sammy Brown, again, played fantastic, and most of the linebacking corps seemed to play pretty good. The biggest problem to me in that ball game was the wide receivers were just off, and they had penalties. At one point I saw Dabo kind of look up in the sky and just say receivers to himself or to somebody on the headsets, and you could see the frustration, which you rarely see out of him unless it's with officials, but they have just not come along at that position either. DBs absolutely understand that, and I think the receivers have to have a hard look taken at them too, Phil.
Just across the board, and the question becomes, they're making these changes, new OC, new safeties coach. That appears to be the changes for now. There could be others coming because the new OC will probably want to perhaps change some things on his side. Then again, Dabo Swinney might hire a guy and says, look, I'm hiring you, but I'm not changing anything else on my offense. I'm happy with my other coaches, you're going to have to work with these guys. And if a guy like Chad Morris is definitely in the mix for it, I could see Chad Morris saying, hey, man, I've been there before. I know what you're all about. I'm good with that. But can they get back to where they were? That's the question. With these changes, whoever he happens to bring in, because you look at next year, you'll be starting with a totally inexperienced quarterback unless you go bring in somebody from the portal, John, who's been an experienced starter somewhere.
Yeah.
So what should we expect from Clemson?
Well, I think Chad Morris, after thinking about it here, been a head coach, was successful at Southern Miss. They struggled at Arkansas, but everybody's struggling at Arkansas. Very good coach, fits that program to a T every way. Obviously, he was one of the big reasons they became successful there, on offense especially. And he did it with Taj Boyd, who was a really good quarterback, but he had some limits. He couldn't. Had struggled on in-cutting routes, especially slants. I think it would be definitely somebody I would look at if I was Dabo. I don't know what he's thinking. Obviously, if you're not on the inside of these things, it's hard to. You're really just guessing.
Sure.
But I think he's definitely somebody I would take a hard look at because you know what you're getting. He's a known quantity, and you can trust Chad. If he's going to make a suggestion, he knows what he's doing and his motivation's pure. And that's what you really need now is a guy, if he comes in and says, hey, we need to do this or that, Dabo, he can trust him that he knows what he's talking about. And as a head coach, I know Dabo he trusts his guys. They've got to have somebody that's not going to let him down, is going to work hard, and he hadn't got to chew on their rear end every 5 minutes to get them to do stuff. And you would expect that to happen, but when you've got a lot of former players there, you've got a lot of guys that didn't have a lot of coaching experience, and that's where the lack of player development, I believe, comes in. I think that after they lost Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott, we saw a huge kind of change, and then the veteran coaches started retiring. And it's hard to replace a Burton Burns. It's hard to replace a Dan Brooks. It's hard to replace a Robbie Caldwell. And I won't even talk about Brent Venables. I guess I just did, but I mean, they have had a all-star. It's why they won. But the receivers they're getting now are not the physical mismatch nightmares of a T. Higgins or Leggett at tight end that they had. And if they had gotten the right matchup, they were throwing that 50-50 ball. Jeff and Tony lived and died. But I did too with guys like Tommy Zimmerman and Derek Higgins. I mean, we went out and recruited big, strong guys that could just go up and make plays. It's not a hard game. And I think, honestly, Garrett Riley always made it a hard game. If you look at Cade, I went to the Louisville game so I could see the whole field and took my son. And Phil, he struggled because the routes were so simplistic. They knew what was coming. And Cade's trying to throw it in there and not turn it over and taking a beating. He was beat up in that game. You could tell his did not run even close to what he did early in the year.
Yeah. Well,
I hate it for him.
His running threat basically diminished to nothing by the end of his season with Clemson. And the thing about Riley was when he was hired 3 years ago, it was supposed to be this air raid offense. Everybody was expecting a lot of deep shots down the field, a lot of big plays down the field. And as time went on, more and more, that was eliminated from the Clemson attack for the most part. You didn't see shots down the field. Their longest pass play in this game was 44 yards. And that was to T.J. Moore, who made a very nice catch and run after the ball. But otherwise, it was totally devoid of shots down the field, which even if you don't complete them, you've got to take them, don't you, to keep the defense honest and to back them up a little bit and to give you a chance to do some other stuff?
Well, in that offense, at least, when it was Rich Rodriguez and then after him, they had the spread developed under Chad Morris extremely well, Billy Napier for a little while. That was the offense I ran. And you have to, we call it take the top off of the defense, back those guys off with the deep ball. And you can't just say, okay, our guys are fast, you got to be scared of them. You got to burn them deep. You got to challenge them deep every week so they know it's coming and they got to be ready for it. And that opens up your run game, too, because those safeties can't get down in the box and cheat and do the things they want to do to try to stop your running game. And I think that hurt their running game because there was really no fear of getting burned deep like there was in the past with the Tigers. They've always, I would say, pretty close to being wide receiver the last 5 or 6 years in the NFL with the number of guys they've had. And if, if Justin Ross doesn't get hurt, there's another first-round draft pick, probably a top 10 draft pick, as fantastic as he was as a young player. And I really hated to see that happen to him. It was a real tragedy. But I mean, after that, it's like the thing just kind of went off a cliff recruiting wise. And I think that Jeff Scott was a big part of that. He was a wide receivers coach. Obviously, I know what kind of recruiter he is because I learned the same things he did from his dad and the people he had around us. And he brought in Trevor Lawrence. He's done a lot of things, and he's up there building houses in Greenville right now. He's not coaching. I don't know if he'd come back. He may be like me and find life outside coaching to be more to him and his family's liking. But that's another guy I would think hard about. Maybe you could get them both to come back. I don't know. But, Chad and Jeff work very well together. Chad mentored Jeff. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do there, Phil. And recruiting-wise, both of those guys can really recruit too.
Coach, as always, great stuff. We appreciate the insight. Hope you have a happy new year, you and the family, rolling into 2026. We'll keep it rolling. If you'll hang in there with us, we'll talk again next Monday night because we'll be through another round of the playoffs and we'll be down to a Final Four and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have more football to talk about next Monday night.
It's my favorite thing to do during football season. Be on here, guys. I love it.
Thank you, Coach. Great talking to you. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Zach Willis, 1st and 10 with Coach Zach Willis here on Sports Talk. We got to run to the break, and we'll come back, give you some recruiting notes from today. Plenty to talk about there as well. Activity around the portal, John, is heating up. January 2nd is the official day that guys can enter, but I got a feeling they're going to be entering and exiting very quickly because deals are being done behind the scenes now. Nobody's waiting till January 2nd to decide where they're going next. Be right back.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at ExperienceColumbiaSC.com.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff Program.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Okay, the recruiting report tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. A reminder, Seawells remains closed this week. The daily luncheon buffet is resting, coming back in all her glory in 2026. So be prepared for the return of the daily luncheon buffet at Seawells in 2026. And, of course, it'll still be a great buy for you at only $15.50 from 11 till 2. The best grub in South Carolina awaits you at Seawells on Rosewood Drive across from the State Fairgrounds. And for the very best in the catering business in 2026, make that phone call to Seawells. Let them handle your big event. 803-771-7385, the number. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. One of the first players, maybe the first player, I think he is the first player, offered by South Carolina's new defensive ends coach, Darius Barnes. His name is Abraham Cisse, 6'2", 225, out of Exton, PA. Of course, they've known each other from Barnes' time at Penn State when he offered Cisse and had him in for camp and got a chance to build a relationship with him, had a chance to watch him perform. So Cisse was very excited that Barnes reached out to him to offer him for South Carolina. He knows very little about South Carolina. He does know Dylan Stewart, but as far as the program and any involvement with the Gamecocks at this point, there has been none. So that's kind of start from the beginning. And he said he would love to learn more about South Carolina, wants to visit, maybe sometime in the spring. He and Barnes are talking about making that happen. Cisse's a high-level recruit who could really go anywhere in the country. He's got Auburn, Florida State, West Virginia, LSU, Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, Southern Cal, Ole Miss, Northwestern, Maryland, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Syracuse as just some of his offers at this point. So we'll see if South Carolina gets a visit. Duke is the only January recruiting visit he has firmed up at this point, but there will be others, and maybe South Carolina could be one decision coming in the summer. South Carolina Reserve offensive lineman Rodney Newsom announced today he's transferring. He's the 12th Gamecock to do so. Over the weekend, cornerback Miles Norwood announced he's transferring. So what does it say when people you bring in through the portal only stay 1 year and then transfer out again? I mean, it says you didn't do a very good job in selecting those players to come into your program is what it tells me. You got to be better. Blythewood native defensive tackle Sterling Sanders is transferring from Boston College. He was a freshman there this season. He played in one game, so he's got 4 years left. He originally committed to Georgia Southern in high school. He did not have a USC or Clemson offer. Running back Turbo Richard, a Northwestern grad, is graduating from Boston College. Did I say graduating? Is transferring from college. He is a graduate of Northwestern High School in Rock Hill. He was not offered by Clemson or South Carolina coming out of high school, but he is a quality running back. And, I mean, if you're South Carolina, this is a guy you should look at. Now, you have a new running backs coach, so he'll have to get to know him, but this is a quality running back. Furman tight end Luke Clyburn is transferring. And Clemson and South Carolina target offensive tackle Carter Jones was offered by that new staff at Penn State. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll be at the Beach Ball tomorrow night. Thank you, Plummer. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From